Hi, I'm Kevin Flynn. I'm the current president of Seattle Rugby Club. Landed here in 1998 and came over to play for Seattle and quickly was playing for Seattle and Beach in Super League and BC Premiership. And I just fell in love with the Pacific Northwest and stayed. Held lots of roles in the club and in the Pacific Northwest over the last few years, and it's been a pretty exciting journey. And this is the next step. When I was at school, the first time, I was actually quite a late bloomer. I was 14, 15. I took up rugby and was quite lucky, took to it quite well. And before long, I was actually playing at London Irish. So I spent 7 years at Irish and enjoyed my time there as an adult before I came to the US. I went to Australia for a little bit and played, but fell in love with the culture, fell in love with the camaraderie and the opportunities that the sport provided me and the people around me. And I never looked back. There was no other sport for me after I tried rugby, that was for sure. So currently with Seattle Rugby Club, I am the president and have been the president for 6 years now. It's been challenging, but exciting. And it's lovely to see how the club has blossomed in the last 15 years. And, we really want to try and bring everyone back together. And that's where we're going to go with this program. So the Seattle Rugby Alumni Club initiative is really something that we've aspired to do. It seems like for the last 20 years, maybe more, even before I came. But to connect with all those people that have played, it was before for Seattle Rugby Club, but now we're an amalgamation of the Breakers, the women's team, and Old Puget Sound Beach. Basically, we came together, and that's who we are today, is an amalgamation of those programs. And we want to celebrate everyone's history. So, we're very lucky nowadays to be able to do this oral history digitally, whereas before we were just trying to get alumni to a bar and seeing if we could connect with them, and it was very, very difficult. Obviously, people moved to different areas. So the idea of this is to connect all different generations. We talk about alum, we're not just talking about very senior alum. There's people my generation and even people that are in their 30s that are alumni and played for the rugby club, but none of them seem to be that well connected. So we want to try and connect all the alum together, but also connect them to the current players, and for our players to realize the legacy of the program that they're playing for, and the legacies of all the people that have been here before us, whether that's the Breakers, the Old Puget Sound Beach, or for Seattle Rugby Club. And we're hoping that this initiative helps support the club, but at the same time creates a more family environment. And we're unfortunate not to be able to have a physical clubhouse, but this is where we want to try and provide a virtual clubhouse and a place for people to connect and feel part of rugby in the Pacific Northwest and the programs that came before us. I feel like the initiative is very important. There's been a massive disconnect. I was very fortunate, and foreigners are fortunate to have grown up in an environment where our alumni were in the clubhouse, and we saw them and we learned from them, and we got work and places to live and things like that. So we don't have that luxury here in Seattle for lots of different reasons. But so this is an effort for us to try and bring people together to connect the old to the new and the new to the old, and tell those stories. And I think there's lots of different factors that are very positive from doing this. We want the alumni to see photographs of them in the past, and we have people working through that, collating those photographs and documenting our history for Beach, Seattle, and the Breakers. And but we want to tell the oral stories too. So there's some very fun, some very exciting, some interesting stories and interesting people that have come, through our programs here since its inception in 1966. So we really want to be able to connect with those people. And I think for us, not understanding our history leaves our players disconnected to the team and the club that they're playing for. I want them to be able to feel, I was like I say, exceptionally lucky to play at London Irish, and I felt a very strong connection to that because that's my heritage. But Seattle is a very diverse community, and we've got a very diverse team, which is fantastic. But we want to be able to tell our history to make sure that we're connected to the team. So on Saturday afternoon, we're not just playing rugby; we're playing rugby for a club that we love, and that we understand, and that people want to come and support and feel connected to the team that's playing that day. And on and off the field, that we can actually build our games are pretty local, so I'm hoping that we can increase our fan base and our alumni can reconnect on the sidelines, as well as the players reconnect with them before and after the games. We're hoping as we build this out that alumni we can create a contact list that's easily accessible. It's been, being president, obviously I know behind the scenes it's been extremely challenging getting all the different email addresses from multi-generations, trying to make sure that people are connected, and we're hoping that this, having this all in one space, we've got the support of some people behind the scenes who can actually have the skill sets to put this together for us, and make sure that if there are alum looking for people, or trying to research their past and other people's past and where are they now, that we'll be able to do that through this program. So if people need to reconnect, and we want them to reconnect, that we're going to make that much easier for them. Over the years, I've heard so many different stories about people asking each other, whatever happened to this guy or that female player or that guy who played for the men's program, and it's been hard to track those things. And I think this is going to be a step in the right direction to be able to track that, and obviously as time goes by, there are people that pass, and we want to celebrate their life, and we don't want to do it a year after when we find out. We want to do it in real time, and make sure our alum are connected to the things that are happening all the time within our program and with the people who used to be in our program. We've tried to make this as easy as possible, and with the support of our marketing group that have really been massive for the club these last few years, and they're really focused on trying to create ease in signing up for the Seattle Rugby Alumni Club, and that's basically going to a web page and signing up and becoming a member. There's multi options there of membership for what people can afford, obviously, and we want them to be a part of it. Rugby doesn't restrict people from people playing rugby because if they don't have any finances, but so we've tried to structure it in a way that everyone can be part of this journey, but obviously those funds come in and help the club massively in our community programs as well. When someone signs up to be part of the program, obviously the benefits to them are that they're reconnecting. We're going to get video stories of people throughout their history, people they've played with, current players. We'll be talking to the directors of rugby for the men and women's program and talking about our future, but really trying to identify people who are, who've contributed and been a very strong presence within our history in the Pacific Northwest. By that support and people signing up, that those finances and that support goes towards help paying for fields and paying for travel and helping those young players. In the last 20 years, when I first come here, the average age of a player, I think, was 24, 25, and now some of those guys, some of these players are playing for us that are 18, 19, and some of them coming from some backgrounds that are pretty tough. So we want to make sure we support them in their development. So we need those resources. Fields did not used to cost what they cost nowadays to make sure we could even train. So by becoming a member of the club, the same as a rugby club at home, everyone becomes a member, and that helps pay for the clubhouse and pay for the nice things and pay for the showers and the fields and things like that. And that's what we're trying to create. This is it's a two-way street. Everyone has to benefit from it, and we all have to feel like we're part of this journey moving forward. And I certainly want to leave it better than I found it, and that means that, you know, the next president comes in and there's, you know, we've created this virtual clubhouse where, although it's virtual at times, there's going to be times where everyone comes together to watch a game thanks to this virtual clubhouse and this alumni membership. The long-term vision of this, for in my mind and for those on our board and the people that are helping create this, is really to help the club be more sustainable, but at the same time make it exactly what we just said, is a club, you know, and not just teams year to year, you know. And it's become harder over the last few years just because everyone is so busy. There's so many things going on in the world, you know, and we don't have a physical clubhouse. So, you know, to have somewhere where we can, you know, touch base with people in our program, that any generation, and hear our history and hear our stories, and then connect through that avenue, and be able to go, you know what, let's meet up for the game on the weekend, and really reconnect with everybody. And I think, if we, and hopefully one day we'll have a clubhouse. Obviously that's everyone's dream, to have a physical, and we were always talking about it. But until then, you know, what we see this is the first step in the right direction to really uniting, you know, not just different generations of alum, but also from different clubs that have created the club that we are today. You know, there were some very challenging times with Old Puget Sound Beach and Seattle Rugby Club, and we've got through it, and here we are today. And I think it's important for the players to know that history, but also a lot of fun to hear some of those stories as well. And there's going to be some really fun stories that are told throughout this whole thing that I'm really looking forward to watching as well. So that's kind of the end goal, is to really bring us all together and make everything sustainable, our friendships and the club as a whole.